Welcome to the BNB Investing Podcast for real estate investors. Fix and flippers and realtors exploring investment options with Airbnbs and short-term rentals through acquisition, leasing, or management to generate consistent monthly revenue. Join us for a chat with experienced and successful short-term rental investors to hear their story of how they got started and created wealth by building scalable businesses. We also explore various service providers and lenders that help make our businesses more efficient and maximize revenue in this awesome sharing economy. Welcome your host, Rich Monroe.
Hey everyone, Rich Monroe here with B&B Investing Group. Thanks for jumping on this week. As you know, B&B Investing Group helps new investors get started with the short-term rental model, whether you're doing acquisitions, the master lease strategy, or management. And a part of what we do on a weekly basis, as you guys know, is we have interviews with successful investors, and we kind of talk about their story, how they got started. And I'm happy to have Elizabeth Fuller here with us today. I actually stayed at one of Elizabeth's properties a few weeks ago when I was in Augusta. My wife and I were there for a wedding, and we stayed in one of her units in a Quadplex, and definitely had a great time during our stay. And I kind of reached out to her and found out if she'd be interested in participating today. So Elizabeth, thanks so much for jumping on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, want to give us a little brief background before we jump in?
Sure. So I am a nurse anesthetist by trade, and I've been a nurse anesthetist for almost 10 years now. I started with house hacking before I knew that was the term for it, and actually just had a series of roommates that ended up being friends. And then I thought, well, maybe I can expand this, and then bought my first investment property in 2018. That was two duplexes on the same lot, and then a quadplex in 2019, and then this other quadplex most recently in December that Rich stayed at.
Very cool. So let's start with the first one. So you did a house hack, and basically you lived in one of the units and then set the other ones up as short-term rentals. How did you find the time, and how do you still find the time, because you're still doing nursing full time? How do you find the time to do this?
Yes, so it's pretty tricky. Basically in the evenings is when I catch up on emails, sending leases out, that sort of thing. Kind of like the gentleman last week mentioned, timing is everything. And so you've got to be quick to respond to things. So a lot of conversations in between, or answering questions in between OR time, or on breaks. Like whenever I can squeeze it in, I try to get back to people within a couple hours, honestly. Just because the timing, there's plenty of options for people to choose from. And I want to have a great shot at securing that lease.
Cool. So that first property was, you said it was a duplex, or?
Yeah. So actually the house, the whole renting to roommates started at my own house with medical students. I met a girl at a church Bible study, and she had rented a place sight unseen, not a great living situation. So I told her afterwards, and that was her prayer request. And so I went up to her afterwards and said, you can come to my house if you want. And within 3 months, my whole house was full of med student girls. And I had more people needing housing than I had room for. And I also, at that time, only hosted females in my own house, just since it was just me. And so then ended up finding this duplex in 2018. I did minor cosmetic renovations to it. But then expanded to professionals, hosting professionals, almost exclusively word of mouth, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, there is some midterm professional housing sites such as Furnished and a couple others. Airbnb, you can do that with midterm type options. However, most of it was word of mouth, and there really wasn't many Furnished Finder listings at that time. And so thankfully, people liked it enough to refer their friends that were coming.
So were you charging each nurse like a certain amount a week, or how did that work?
So I did it on monthly rental. It was a month at a time or longer. And
Hmm.
so just due to like some housing nuances here. And so I did it a month or longer. They had to do a deposit, a cleaning fee, and then partial months were prorated, which I still do to this day. And I only do a 30 days notice. So a lot of times people will make traveling medical professionals or other professionals that are traveling pay for the entire length of time if it's like a 6 month contract or something, in the event they get canceled. But I try to be pretty flexible. And even then, if they get canceled, then and I can get it filled, then I'll prorate that amount back to them. So trying to be super friendly with other professionals that are away from home has certainly helped me in the majority of instances.
And then, so how much money were you generating on a monthly basis as an average?
For the main building, it was about 5,500 a month.
Wow, nice.
And then for the back duplex that I renovated, it was a complete tear down, honestly, that I was determined to renovate. And I did into a studio slash and then a 1-1. And they both had garage spaces. And those bring in 2,500 a month. So, 2,500 in the carriage house, 5,500 in the front, and what turned out to be a $300,000 investment property after all renovations and furnishings.
Very nice. And so the same time question. So how did you do these renovations and still have a full-time job?
My mom says I have a lot of energy, honestly. But I also redesigned it on SketchUp, submitted it, found subs. So I was interviewing 3 subs. And that's a great point, is if you're going to hire people out to do renovations, try to get 3 quotes for everything. Then you can ask questions of, well, this guy said this guy said that, why are we suggesting this? I did. So contracted that out myself since it was my property currently under my name. And that took about close to a year, quite honestly, since there were certainly some growth and learning opportunities in that. So meeting with them on weekends, afternoons after I got off work. ORs normally run about 6:30 to 2:30, 3 or 4. So I'd go there afterwards, meet them around 4 or 5 whenever they finished up their jobs, and just line them up. So you're at 4:30, you're at 5, and you're at 5:30. Let's go.
Your mom was right. You do have a lot of energy. So you had that first one up and running. And so at what point did you say you wanted to convert and kind of do more short-term rentals with Airbnb and some of the other platforms?
Mm-hmm. I saw that the midterm rental opportunities were getting harder. Like when I initially started, I had an actual waiting list of people that needed housing. And, there's a certain level of, I don't know if I can handle any more right now, right? Because I had scaled from my house alone to what turned out to be 8 units in the span of a year and a half, with one of those being a complete remodel. And so I was scaling as fast as I personally could, but still wasn't keeping up with the demand initially. So then after more people caught on to the midterm rentals, then I kind of was like, okay, well, we're at a good spot. So let's get creative with it. We also have the Masters that comes here to Augusta, which is a great yearly option. So I honestly started blocking out only those weeks, would fill it with midterms as I could, but that week certainly compensates for any vacancy percentage rate that You're not
Yeah, so
stressed.
so for those of you that aren't that familiar with Augusta or golf in general, the Masters is like the creme de la creme of tournaments, and a lot of people that have long-term rentals, even in the Augusta National area near the golf course, will basically put it in their lease when folks sign a long-term lease that, hey, guy, like you're going to need to go find a hotel room or somewhere else for the week of the Masters because take all your personal stuff out of there because we're going to rent it out for about 10 or 15,000 or more during the tournament. And so it's a great revenue generator, and it's a lot more accessible as a short-term rental as well. I can imagine that you're able to monopolize on that quite good. And a lot of your units are not that far, 15, 20 minutes or so from Augusta National. So that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. So that is the sweet spot of being in this town, is that you do have that kind of backup option for having furnished properties, is that you get a great contract, and then the goal is just to keep it every year. And you can get the short term. I've rented bedrooms before, for 300 or 400 a night, or which is cheaper than a hotel. The thing is that in the state of Georgia, it's actually, if it's your own personal house, it's tax-free money if you rent your own personal house. So that's a huge deal. And it helps you maintain your properties, because when I tell you every detail has to be done, we're talking like every baseboard has to be perfect, So it really makes people keep their properties up in this town. If you do rent for masters, especially, so that's one of the benefits, is that they're paying you well to maintain your own property at a much higher rate. And they actually coincide spring break with the Masters Week. So then people rent their houses and then take their families on spring break vacation and come back and move back in. Or for me, I tell all my people it's in the lease, they've got to go.
That's great. That's a great way to do it. Now, so you had that duplex, it was up and running, you're generating revenue. How did you, and what did you do to acquire the next property after that?
So I would drive by it every day on my way home, and I was like, man, if that place ever came up for sale, I'd want to get it. And then just happened to be on the MLS with a friend at the time, and I was like, it came up for sale. I mean, the sign wasn't even out. And it was a bidding war back in 2019. Now I look at it and literally laugh at the price I got that one for. But at the time, it was a bidding war. And it's super convenient to the medical district as well as Augusta National. So it's about 2 miles to Augusta National and less than a mile from the medical district on the main drag. So you can walk to grocery stores, walk to food, which is why I really wanted this property. And it's a quadplex. They're all 2-2s, so everyone has their own bathroom. And that one just required, and it's on a commercial lot. So that also brings a lot of added value for the future. So, and it just required cosmetic renovations.
Very good. So that brings on a question. Is there any like short-term rental ordinance or regulations or rules in Augusta?
If it's multifamily, you're fine. If it's your personal house, you're fine. So nothing in particular that I'm aware
Yeah, I
of.
didn't think so. Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there wasn't.
Now, if you buy at a condo complex, they do have, I know one particular condo complex that my parents actually have a condo in. There is no Airbnb with the HOA.
Right.
So certain HOAs will do that, except for Masters Week. And that's because they all want to rent their properties for Masters Week too.
Exactly. That's cool. All right. So now you have a duplex, a quadplex, and then you bought another quadplex after that?
Yes, most recently in December. And that one was cosmetic renovations and just typical. I have an affinity for old houses. And when I mean old, like 1910 to 1915 or so. So all the creaks and groans of an old house. I just love it. So that one, we did install a washer and dryer since it was going to be too much to put it in the upper units. So we installed that, refinished floors, painted, installed 3 kitchens, including granite and dishwashers, all that good stuff. So I say cosmetic. It felt like a lot more because it was 4 units at a time, but the bones of the house were good. So it wasn't that bad.
So what were the numbers on that? What was the acquisition cost and the rehab cost?
Yes. So the acquisition cost was $455,000 for the quadplex. It was 2 2-bed, 1 baths, 2 1-1s. The rehab cost, so it's a little distorted. The flooring guys nicked a pipe upstairs when they were sanding the floors, and credit to them, they owned up to it and used their insurance. So always make sure you work with people that have insurance and bonded and are upstanding citizens would be my recommendation, because that insurance claim ended up coming in at like 49,000.
Wow.
And because it flooded upstairs all night long, and it was move-in day. So all the floors had been done downstairs. The cabinets were now a goner because it was in the kitchen and the den. The ceiling was down, complete sheetrock, mitigation, the whole 9 yards.
That's when you just go in the corner and just cry, right? I mean,
I cried a lot that day. But I have to say it turned out for the best, because my renovation costs for the first time and then the second round of it all was $49,000, and I got $42,000 after mitigation. So I only paid $7,000 for all of it.
Very nice.
So
that's a good bonus to have to suffer through it,
was
right?
a blessing in disguise. But floors, that always runs for here around $4 a square foot. If you know them. These were antique heart pines, so we had to replace a couple little sections. But you can count on around here at least $4 a square foot for that. 3,600 square foot house. You can do the math. Painting everything, baseboards, walls, $4,000 to $5,000 for that. And then of course your kitchen cabinets, which I just have them design and get at Lowe's, honestly. And then granite, work with a local granite company here that gives me a investor discount, essentially, because I've done a lot of work with them.
Yeah. Is that quadplex considered historic? Was there any additional permitting or anything you had to do special?
Not for okay, so it is in a historic district, so anything to the exterior. So the biggest thing is, which is one of the how I did a lot of negotiating on the front end of the deal, was, listen, this roof is literally on its last leg and it's a metal roof, and to get it changed you would have to go through historic preservation and get a variance done. And so that was, somebody once told me, you make your money going in. And so the biggest thing is on the front side, before you get strapped with a $400-something thousand mortgage, is you negotiate every single penny on the front end, which was one of my bargaining chips of, one HVAC's from the 70s. Okay. Like these things could go at any time. Nothing is new in this house. Okay. And the roof itself would be a $50,000 to $75,000 roof.
Yeah.
And like, I'm sorry, but you're already pricing it at the top. So, and it's been on and off the market. So you're going to have to work with me now.
Yeah, for sure. So what's your monthly mortgage on that quadplex?
It's $3,000, including your escrow and all of that.
So $3,000 a month. And then your average nightly rate on the 2 bedrooms?
So I've been doing long or midterm rentals for those
Okay.
actually.
Mhm.
So they're bringing in $1,550 a month per unit on that. So it's
That's a
bringing in
nice stable break even, covers the expenses. Love it. Okay.
exactly.
Mhm.
So and those are booked through. I've got one booked through December, and another one booked through end of August already. So we didn't get all 4 units up and running until like March 15th.
Mhm.
So it was pretty late in the game for masters, and it was a lot because the flood happened in January. So
Oh, wow.
really, we've only been hardcore rented since about May, where everything has been just solid, like, okay, we're getting in a groove here, kind of a thing.
Mhm.
So it's bringing in, I would say, 6,000 a month conservatively, projected for June as well as what
Yeah.
May brought in. So
Very
we're still
cool.
a little low right now, but I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, it's gonna be okay. Like we're testing out the Airbnb thing, and we can only go up. So
No, most definitely. Yeah, I think you're definitely just at the beginning stages of, especially on the Airbnb side, because as you know, once you start getting positive reviews, and for those of you, that not familiar with the location, so she's walking distance to downtown Augusta, a lot of restaurants and bars, walking distance to the river and the park that's right along there. And so it's a great location. Obviously, 15 minutes or so drive to Augusta National. And so, that's a great location, and it's going to be, like you say, it's going to go nowhere but up from here. So that's awesome. So now that you've got that duplex, 2 quadplexes. Is there another one, or
yeah, the carriage house duplex
carriage house duplex?
as well. So
That's also in Augusta.
it is, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So the 12 units, and then I manage some condos for my parents. So
Okay. Very cool. So let's take a look at one of the listings here. Let me pop it up. So which one is this?
this is a 2-bed, 1 bath that's upstairs on the opposite side of where you stayed with the red furniture. And so I kind of started to get a little creative with it and was trying to do like a little bit more mid-century modern, if you will, for this one.
Mhm.
Honestly, my family says I buy more properties just so I can buy more furniture. So, uh,
Nice. Very cool. And so this one is the 2 bed, 1 bedroom or 2 bedrooms?
2-bed, 1 bath on
2 bed,
this
one
one.
bath. And how long has
Mhm.
this listing been up?
This listing has been up. Well, this was the final unit to get done because it's the one that flooded. So since March, but it's already booked through December solid. So it's actually not
Wow,
even available right now. Maybe
that's
I should
awesome.
show the other one.
Well, that's great. That's all. Can we take a quick look at the pictures?
Sure, absolutely.
So you're literally booked all the way through. So you've got a kind of a long-term rent tenant in there. Is that right?
Correct. It's a
Okay.
pair of students that's in there. Do you need me
Yeah.
to do the
Yeah.
photos?
Yeah. If you can click on the pictures for me so we can take a quick look.
Can you see it there? Yes. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Mm-hmm.
So this bathroom, we ended up moving a vanity from downstairs up to here and had to redo that shower. It was kind of awkward, but it's white, so it's fine. And then you can see this bedroom. A couple things is if you can on your Airbnbs, put blackout curtains. People
Yeah.
like that, especially if you're in kind of an urban area and it's bright out. The other thing is smart TVs in every bedroom, as well as desk, so that if you get people there for work or for whatever, then you have that ability for them to use that space for work as well.
Totally
And then
agree.
nice soothing. For me, I tend to do soothing neutral colors so you can
Mm-hmm.
change things around. as much as
Love it.
possible.
Yeah,
Change
it's comfortable. It's inviting.
Do you want
Very
me to
nice.
show you the other one?
Yeah, sure.
This is the one that you stayed in. Oh, actually, this is one of the condos that we rent pretty well for masters.
And so during Masters, how much do you rent this condo for?
Oh, so I'm trying to think. We actually have a package of 6 that we rent out to one company.
Oh, nice.
So,
So what's the package of 6 units go for with the company?
so the package of 6, which is, this is a 2-bed, 1-bath, but then we have, so it would be 3 2-bed, 1-baths and 3 2-bed, 2-baths. It goes for $47,000.
Awesome. So that pretty much makes most of your year there, no matter what else happens for the rest of the year, right? That's
Yes. So it's been for the past couple years, it's about a third of the year's worth of rent in that 1 week.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's very hard to duplicate consistently in any other market.
It
I mean,
is.
we have, yeah. You know, you have events that come to Atlanta, for example, and other major cities, but it's once every 5 or 6 years, like the Super Bowl or NBA All-Star Weekend, you know, those kinds of things. And to have that kind of venue and revenue on a consistent basis is definitely a huge advantage for sure.
Which is why you want to keep your people very happy.
Yeah, yeah. Yep. So this is the one I stayed in. My wife and I went to a wedding in Augusta about a month ago, and love the way that she's got 4 different patios outside each of the 4 units with their own little seating areas, parking in the back, and was a great unit, very comfortable, 1 bedroom, nice full kitchen, got everything you needed. So yeah, you did a great job on that one too.
Thank you. It's been fun, honestly. I just absolutely love this.
No, that's cool. So let's talk about your operations with guest communications. I mean, you're already busy with rehabbing and remodeling and buying properties, and then how do you find time to actually, you know, do the guest communications and handle issues that are coming up with the guests?
So thankfully, I have a pretty good team at this point. As far as guest communications and last minute logistics, I have to say it's a one-woman show, and this is her. So I am still very much the only one that they talk to. And so I am actually looking for ideas on how to start outsourcing more of this. I do need a personal assistant. But beyond that, you know, it's been very much it is a numbers game, of course, but it's also a passion project, and the whole, like, no one will run your business like you will kind of a thing. And you want the communications and the way that you present yourself to be professional and like handle it as you would. So honestly, I've just pretty much done it. However, I do have great people to call when things go awry and I am unavailable. So things that I would certainly recommend that everyone find is a great HVAC company. An HVAC will invariably go out while you're out of the country every time. And you can just call them and say, hey, I'll send you a check when I get back or whatever. And they're like, Miss Fuller, we got you, you know. A great maintenance guy, handyman that can kind of do anything and is at your beck and call, if you will, when things come up. I have one installing a glass shower door next week that somehow they broke, but you know, I can call him. He's trustworthy, he's fair, and just building those relationships. I have a great cleaning team, and they that's the biggest thing when somebody walks in is, does it smell nice? Is it clean? And then they can kind of overlook other nuancy things that, like, oh, they forgot to get extra salt or something.
Yeah.
But if it's clean, then it's like, okay, we can deal with that.
Yeah, make no mistake about it, guys. When you're looking to get started with this is a hospitality business that's going to make or break your success, and you're going to very quickly fail if you don't make that the first priority in everything that you're doing with setting up your operation. So, totally agree. So, Elizabeth, what's your next plans? You about to buy another Quadplex? What's going on for the future here?
Definitely got to catch my breath for a minute here. But I certainly want to advance more into commercial space a little bit. My family is in the commercial space a little bit more, so kind of want to start moving that direction. I like variety. You can reinvent yourself and learn, and it's always, the day is never the same, right? And so looking to get more into commercial and into developing and that sort of thing. But I would just encourage people, like, it doesn't matter really your background or, I mean, I'm a nurse anesthetist. So, with the proper guidance, mentorship, get involved in your local REI, real estate investing groups, learn from them, learn how to run numbers. That's the biggest thing, is identifying a deal, or, can I make this where it's going to be worth it to me, and that's the beauty of Airbnb and short-term rentals, is that, if you're bringing home $300 from a long-term rental per month and the HVAC goes out, it's not even going to cover an HVAC for the year, much less if they destroy your property and then you have to completely rehab it. So that is the beauty of short-term rental, is that they're not there long enough to really destroy your property. And, they don't normally have friends there, so they're not hopefully having too many parties or things that are going to ruin your property either. So that is a benefit, is the higher revenue you get back.
Very cool. Very cool. So is there one particular piece of advice, knowing what you know today, that you would give somebody that's getting started?
I think one is begin to form relationships with people that you can get on your team, electricians, plumbers, HVAC, other real estate investors. People are very kind and willing to provide great insight or help. I've told multiple people, you bring me a property, I'll help you run the numbers and figure out if it's going to work for you. So surround yourself with people that know the business and also are still dreaming big. You've met those investors that are like, I'm out of here, this is terrible, been doing long-term rentals for 30 years, but surround yourself with people that are positive and have been successful to learn from. I think that would be a big one. And then think about the kind of places that you like to go is the other thing. I don't want to go somewhere where, it looks like it's off The Shining or something. Think about the things that you like to have at home. Do you like nice decor? Probably so. Do you like plates that aren't chipped and are matching? Yeah. So think about the things that you like, and then implement that in your own property for those people, so that when they think back, they're like, oh yeah, that was a great place, I'd stay there again, or refer their friends.
Nice. Very cool. That's great advice. Elizabeth, thanks so much for doing that this week, spending some time with us. And thanks everybody for checking us out. As a reminder, B&B Investing Group helps new investors. If you're ready to get started and scale a business like Elizabeth has, that's something that we help folks do. So feel free to reach out to me directly on Facebook Messenger, or we can have a quick call and see what your goals are and see if we'd be a good fit or not. But thanks again, Elizabeth. Really enjoyed chatting, and definitely next time I come to Augusta, we'll definitely be looking you up and staying at one of your quadplexes again. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Take care. We'll see you again next week.
Thanks for jumping on the BNB Investing Podcast this week. Please click on the subscribe and like button below. For more trainings, property tours, and content, you can join my BNB Investing Facebook group by clicking below. If you are ready to grow your short-term rental portfolio and maximize your monthly income, you can click on the link below to schedule a quick strategy call with Rich or someone from his team to see how we can help or point you in the right direction. Stay tuned for our next episode and hope to see you on the BNB Investing Group podcast.